Money. Motec and Money continues. This is Frank Motec. Shopping destinations, including the Grove in L.A. and Americana at Brand and Glendale, continue to show spectacular success at a time of big changes in the retail world. A new report predicts the amount of retail space closing is set to break a record this year, with Toys R Us, Sam's Club, more Sears stores, Bon-Ton, and now Dash stores going away. Changing consumer tastes and the rise of online retailers, especially Amazon, changing the retail landscape. With us now, the one and only Rick Caruso, master entrepreneur and developer of shopping destinations, including the Grove and Americana at Brand, as well as the soon-to-be opening Palisades Village and several other big developments. Rick Caruso, thank you very much for joining us here this weekend, and we want to get an update on all the exciting things coming up. But first, give us your view of what's happening in the retail world at the moment.
Frank, listen, I believe the future of retail is bright, and I know that sounds inconsistent with a lot of the news and the headlines that are out there, but you know, we live it every day and we see it every day. We have had consistent growth, positive growth on our properties for the last 27 years, and 2017 was the best year ever for us. What I do see happening is there's a natural and a positive evolution in what's happening with brick and mortar retail. And the retailers that are closing are frankly retailers that have become stale. They haven't remained smart. They haven't remained relevant to the consumer. They haven't provided the right product or experience. You know, I would ask everybody, when you look at a company like Toys R Us, there was a day when going to a Toys R Us store was an exciting and a fun experience. I don't think there's anybody, at least that I know of in the last decade, who would wake up and say they're excited to go to a Toys R Us store. You know, they just lost the sense of interest and excitement walking into that store. So when you take a look at those that are closing, stores that are closing mostly have been trying to compete on price and have forgotten who their customer is and how to service their customer. But those that know their customer, service their customer well, and provide a wonderful environment are really thriving right now. And when you see a company like Amazon, who is clearly one of the smartest and brightest companies on the retail front, getting into brick and mortar, buying Whole Foods, opening up bookstores, etc., I think that's a very clear sign that the future of retail is very bright.
And you've taken somewhat of a contrarian view on the so-called Amazon effect. Amazon been great, you said recently, for brick and mortar retail. Is that your view?
That is my view. Amazon has been great for brick and mortar retail because it's reminded those that are in brick and mortar a few things. One is the best way to service your customers to have a hybrid model. You have to be able to sell online, have a digital format that's a great digital format, and you still have to connect with the customer. You have to have that human connection. Amazon has realized that, and that's why they're opening stores. Great companies like Warby Parker that started online are rolling out stores now. So there's dozens of those stories of digital retailers moving to brick and mortar. What Amazon has also reminded great merchants of is know your customer, understand your customer. Many, many retailers, as they expanded, would have inventory in a store in Los Angeles the same as the inventory in a store in Milwaukee. Two different customers. Every store should reflect what the local community is shopping for. So old days past, great merchants remembered what you bought and then would sell you based on that. That's the algorithm that Amazon uses. And it's reminding people, yes, let's really understand our customer and give them the product they want. And those that are doing that are doing exceedingly well. Look at the Sephoras of the world that are growing by leaps and bounds, double-digit growth on our properties, the Sephora stores. Same product you can get online, but their brick-and-mortar stores are exploding and they're expanding. So I think there's a real lesson to be learned from watching the Amazons of the world, the Warby Parkers of the world, and other digital formats that are moving into brick and mortar.
Are there any other trends you'd like to share with us here in the retail world and the future of malls? What do you see ahead? Maybe will there be an Amazon store at the Grove someday?
Well, listen, there may be an Amazon store at the Grove someday. I would certainly love to see and do more business with Amazon. We've done a couple deals with them. You know, we announced we're opening up an Amazon bookstore in our project up in Pacific Palisades. And I really believe that the future of retail and how it's going to evolve is out at Palisades. We have this highly curated mix of tenants out there. It's a beautiful village that we're building. I still believe the indoor malls have an enormous struggle ahead of them. They're disconnected from the way people live their lives. They sort of have become an anachronism in life. But if they can reinvent themselves, I think they'll do fine. Those that don't are going to suffer. You look at Westside Pavilion, that's going to be converted, as I understand, to office now. You're going to see more and more of that happening across the country, these indoor malls where foot traffic has just dropped consistently over the last 10 years.
On the line with master entrepreneur, developer, philanthropist Rick Caruso. We'll continue the conversation in just a moment, get an update on what's happening in Pacific.